Hey there again, everyone. This is Giant League number 124. I'm going to title this one Return of the King. Dark Confidant is back. I'm not playing the Delirium package, which would be like Mishra's Bauble, Dragon's Rage's Channeler. I'm not playing like anything like Urza Saga to further power that up either. This is just straight, completely fair mid-range, plus Dark Confidant. Lots of good card advantage engines in this particular build. So I'm lots of 1-for-1s as well. So I'm hopefully gonna mitigate my 1-for-1s by having a higher than average number of multi-for-1s. And those 2-for-1s are things like Ren and Six, Dark Confidant, of course, Croxa if you want to consider Croxa, and of course everyone's favorite monkey, Liliana and Grist to some extent as well. My sideboard is I think pretty compact. We can take a look at the modern metagame real quick. So Murktide's still number one, Burn, Witnessing a Peak, and then various Cascade decks, then some old favorites, things like Shadow, Hammer, and 4-color Blink. And then here's what the rest of the top 15 looks like. So this is what the sideboard's for, and hopefully it works. Let's jump into it. You talking about Urza Saga 90? I didn't see when your comment popped up. Or a monkey, maybe. This particular list is only Liliana of the Veil off of Companioning Gigantha, which is kind of funny. I mean, there are obviously some sideboard cards that would nullify that too, but maybe we just don't play these. I feel like having a 5/5 for 8 mana just isn't that great. Are you talking about Saga? We are on the play. On the play, this hand's looking fine. This will, I guess, be Blood Crypt. Forest is awkward in that it doesn't cast Terminate and Croxa. This will for sure have to be Blood Crypt, and then we can figure out if we can play Goy for Terminate next turn based off of what the opponent does. I don't think the turn 2 play is Croxa. It doesn't really advance the board as permanently this early. Oh, Giganta. Yeah, Giganta, like, it's still one of those cards where I feel like it should never matter, but I've played it in Shadow a little bit, and it's come up more than once, which has been funny. Finally got a gaming mouse that has a bunch of extra buttons on it, so I've put the shortcuts on it. Oh god, Gemstone Mine. Well, that probably means it's Dredge, if I had to guess. Which is not going to be good, especially game 1. Although Goyf is good against what is presumably Dredge. Yeah, it's Dredge. Otherworldly Gaze. It's telling me they're casting it over in this window, but for whatever reason, Magic Online is a little behind. There it is. So they're going to get to dredge, and they've left 2 cards on top with the gaze, so their dredge is presumably going to be good. They didn't dredge. I guess they kept a card on top they wanted to find. They might have just been short a land. Or they needed that. So our sideboard is pretty good for this matchup. We have 3 Endurance and 3 Nile Spellbomb. Alright, so nothing came back, which is good. They do have 3 Silver Smoke Ghouls, though, so as soon as they hit a Creeping Chill, we're going to be in some trouble. I think I need to get a Grist going. In the off chance I add a card type, I'll Grist first. They can Dark Blast these tokens, but if they want to spend a mana doing that, that's probably fine. I mean, turn 2 Tarmogoyf on the play versus dredge is probably the most I could ask for, honestly. They dredged Golgari Thug. Have not yet hit a Creeping Chill, which is pretty fortunate. Because again, as soon as they do that, all of their ghouls are coming back. Okay, this is likely to hit at least 1. What's up? What's up? Getting dredged game 1 here, unfortunately. Yeah, like this is what I was talking about. Like game 1 has got to be pretty horrendous. So we'll get 3 1/1s, drain me for 6, get some amalgams back, get some Silver Smoke Ghouls back. We can't win. Our sideboard is good though. Alright, so these. There's even an argument to playing Brutality while on the play, because we'll get to our second mana before they do, which means that we can take their various 2 mana enablers, like their Cathartic Reunions and that red-white Cathartic Reunion that we saw twice. Let's see how many things we want to take out. For sure the Lilianas. For sure the Croxas. For sure the Terminates. If we want to kill things like Oxyvagonus, Terminate is definitely better than something like Unholy Heat, although Bolt does the trick as well and also goes to face. So this is 59. Is Brutality better than one of these removal spells? I think so. In terms of getting the non-Ox creatures out of the way, this will pretty much kill everything. In addition to, like I said, if we're on the play, we can take one of their 2 mana enablers. We've got a very decent 8-card ace sideboard for this, though. So hopefully that does well. Yeah, I don't think I'm excited about any of these other cards in the sideboard. I guess is Brutality better than something else? I think the discard is probably pretty important on the play, or even on the draw, because again, taking the enabler is important. It's possible Brutality is better than Lightning Bolt. It's possible Brutality is better than something like Grist. Grist can block Silver Smoke Ghouls for a while. But, I mean, if I'm treading water like that, it doesn't really feel like a game that I'm winning anyway. Maybe Brutality is just better than Grist. Kolagon's Command, though. Maybe Grist is better than Kolagon's Command. I could definitely see that. Nah, let's leave in the 1 Kolagon's Command and do this. Not excited about the Brutalities, but they're probably just better than the things I took out. Am I off Saga too? I'm not off of it. I just wanted to try without it. It's definitely still good. Alright, please no Leyline of Sanctity. Ooh, okay. So we've got turn 1 Monkey and turn 2 Brutality to take their Enabler. That's probably got to be good enough. We don't have any of our, like, ace sideboard cards, but we've got the curve out passing that. We just gotta hope for no Leyline of Sanctity if the opponent is on Leyline of Sanctity. And if they are, things get significantly harder. They're on 5 so far. 4. So I did take the Croxa out and the Terminates out. So that makes getting basic Forest off of Verdant less punishing. Not immediately relevant, but could be soon. They mulligan to 4 and have Gemstone Caverns. So they're going down to 2 cards in hand. Alright, well, my first turn is still scripted. I guess that means they can't Cathartic Reunion. If they flip something like a Narcomoeba here, Ren and 6 can maybe get it out of the way. Alright, they milled a Leyline, so they are in the deck, and they hit no Dredgers. So I guess importantly with Thrilling Discovery, you have to discard 2 to draw 3, so you don't actually net cards if you have fewer than 2 cards in hand after you've cast it, which is good to note. Alright, let's open this. Alright, lead on an attack. Dark Blast. Brutal. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's their last card in hand. I guess I'll get this Ren and 6 going. They'll likely dredge Dark Blast, then we'll just kind of hope that it's not nutty. We can start getting this Forgotten Cave loop going, although that's maybe not the kind of strategy we want to win. We don't have access to another plan at the moment, though. Alright, so they're going to dredge 3, and we're going to hope it's not some kind of nuts. Alright, they hit an Archamoeba. And a Thug. Thug could let him keep going. I mean, they do have the Otherworldly Gaze. Gemstone Caverns is annoying. Alright, so we can ping this thing. I guess we just cycle this. If we hit a Spell Bomb, we're going to want to get into play immediately. We unfortunately do not have a green card for Endurance. That's the Endurance. So do I buy back the cave immediately and then just cycle it again next turn? I need another green source to cast Endurance. Pinging this Narcomoeba right now probably doesn't matter a whole lot. Obviously lets them do a damage to me. I guess next turn I could both cycle the cave and flash in the Endurance. Let's buy back cave. We might be able to kill the Narcomoeba with the reach on Endurance. Alright, and then I'll go Mire Pass. Here's the Otherworldly Gaze, I suppose. Yep. Something I could have done is I could have like fetch shocked and cycled this immediately. Because then maybe that hits a Spell Bomb. There goes a Chill. But that's losing 3 life, and the odds that the 3 life matters are probably higher than the odds that I find one of my 3 Spell Bombs. Take 1. They have 1 card in hand. This doesn't do what they want. They have to discard 2 in order to draw 3, like I mentioned earlier. So the only card they have in their hand is the Dark Blast. Alright, so this has to get green. We've got Mountain in hand, so Overgrown Tomb is probably a fine selection. Okay. So they've got Golgari Thug in their hand, or they're gonna put Golgari Thug into their hands. They've already got Dark Blast. I think I want to continue cycling this cave and buying it back. I guess let's just start there. We'll still be able to flash in the Endurance. Glyph's a good one. Do I want to flash it in right now and force them to take a natural draw? If they dredge the Thug, I can always Endurance in response to any triggers they create, and then they'll be stuck with a Thug in their hand, but they could also just cast the Thug. Is Thug a better natural draw than their other average draw? I probably want them to draw just any non-castable, to be honest. So I think what that means is I should just Endurance right now. The benefit to waiting would be that maybe we can flash Surprise and kill this Narcomoeba as well. I could also just play one of these cards and then pitch the Glyph, but I think both of these cards are valuable on their own. So yeah, I think I'm going to let them dredge the Thug. And then if they don't create a trigger, we'll get to eat the Narcomoeba. And if they do create a trigger, I can just flash it in anyway. Alright, so they hit an Narcomoeba. Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're going to get an Narcomoeba no matter what. So I'll flash this in now. Because if I flash this into Surprise and block it, they still just have an Narcomoeba, so it's kind of the same. So those all go to the bottom. So their hand is now Thug and Dark Blast. They didn't play the Thug. Interesting. So I don't want to have them discard a card because then they would just have a Dredger in the yard. I think I want to just attack normally. I can cycle first. Another one. Alright, we knew this was a possibility. And Tarmogoyf follow-up. Again, I could cycle right now to see if I hit a Spell Bomb. I mean, I guess at this point it's probably worth it. Then if I want a Lightning Bolt, I'll have to Fetch Shock a Stomping Ground, but I don't really see a scenario where that would be necessary. So I think at this point, if I find a Spell Bomb, excellent. Well, Endurance is good too, though. I do have the extra Ren and 6. Alright, I don't think I'm going to do it now. If they dredge anything meaningful, then I can do it. They hit Stinkweed Imp, Thrilling Discovery. That's fine. This is going alright, all things considered. They're attacking. Sure. So their hand is Thug, Dark Blast. Bob, interesting. Alright, well I probably just lead on an attack. Can I add any types first? They've got sorcery, creature, I've got land. If I bolt them, that will do an additional damage. Should probably just keep on cycling this Forgotten Cave for now. Lots of good sideboard cards we could hit. That's not one of them. They do play only a few shock lands, right? I guess them being dredge means that their mana isn't necessarily super important. If they find a land, assuming they're dredging this imp, that will have a death touch creature in play, but I've got ways of killing it. I think I should probably just like play peatland. If I brutality first, that can make them put the instant in the yard, but they'll shrink a creature by 1 and then Goyf will grow by 1, so it doesn't actually change the math at all. Although maybe then I could resolve Dark Confidant. Alright, let's just lead on attack. Yep, they don't block, obviously. Alright, I'll pass. If they dredge anything meaningful, I'll endurance them. So again, their hand is Dark Blast, Golgari Thug. Alright, that I'll have to, that I'll endurance. Okay. Sideboard card's good. They were on 4 cards, plus including a Gemstone Caverns there. They also blew a Thrilling Discovery when I think they thought it worked differently. Any changes? Them playing lots of Dark Blasts is annoying against Monkey and Bob. But I mean, I still think Monkey and Bob are probably better than the alternatives. I guess like the only maybe is like this other Kolaghan's command. Nah. Come on, sideboard cards. So we did see that the opponent has Leyline of Sanctity in their deck. I mean, I can't mulligan this hand ever. And if they've got the Leyline, I'll be quite sad. They don't have it, though. They kept the 7 and didn't have it. Interesting. I could lead on the Monkey, but that's pretty bad versus Dark Blast. This should be good pretty much no matter what. Obviously, I would like to get the card off of it, but I won't be super sad if not getting the card means I don't have to just die. Alright, so here's the Otherworldly Gaze. Uh-oh. Okay. I think I'm letting this happen. The Narcomoeba coming into play isn't bringing anything with it. The chill is annoying. Like, if I spellbomb there, it's fine. But then I'm pretty in trouble to any of their draw 3s. If I draw a green source, which I have not, I was going to say I could just use the Renin 6 to kill the Narcomoeba. Bolt does a similar job. So what I guess I'm doing here is I could cast Monkey and then plan on casting Lightning Bolt or holding up a Spellbomb activation. If they have Nature's Claim and a draw 3, then I'm going to want to have played second Spellbomb as a backup. They're also likely to Otherworldly Gaze right here as well. And if this hits something nutty and they've got to draw 2, then I'm in trouble. So it's a little defensive. But what I think I'm going to do is just cast second spell bomb and say go. If I don't need to sacrifice a spell bomb, I can then bolt the Narcomoeba, which will hopefully clear a path for monkeys. You're like playing Rag another spell bomb. I feel like I'm pretty insulated versus just dying going this way, which might be playing scared. But I think there's a pretty easy route to just losing if I go monkey and not second spell bomb. So while this may feel like it's a little too safe, I think it might be necessary. Alright, they dredged Dark Blast. I mean, them dredging Dark Blast is obviously going to be not what I want to see. They didn't dredge it, actually. Interesting. Are they just going to start casting creatures? That's honestly pretty annoying. Looks like what's happening. Here's a Prizes Amalgam. Yeah. I guess I'll lightning bolt that with the intention of popping a spell bomb soon. Bob. I guess I pop a spell bomb now. That'll hit an Archamoeba, make sure they don't have a blast for all of my X1s. If I draw a green source, I get to play Ren and 6 and still have a spell bomb in play. I think so. Ashiok's good too. Not immediately, obviously. But with this spell bomb in play, we can maybe leverage Ashiok being good. Do I want to shock to play a monkey? It's bad if they have Dark Blast in their hand because they could upkeep Dark Blast and then dredge that. One is gone. It's a close spot. I think I'm playing the monkey now. Leaving the black up for an activation. You're saying play both, and if they get top and dredge hits, you can always pop and not get the card. You're not hurting for card advantage right now. Dash Rag for the mana. So, like, dashing Ragavan for the mana and then immediately using it on Ren and 6 means that I basically used my entire turn to get Ren and 6 into play, which isn't a very high impact play, especially because Ren and 6 doesn't actually have anything to buy back. We would still have spell bombs in play. And here's what we were worried about. They dredge, hit Gaze, Ox, Thrilling Discovery. Okay, they pass. Bolt. Alright, well, I guess it's time to Ashiok. They're gazing in response. I mean, I guess they could wait until I actually used the Ashiok. So, I mean, unless this brings something back immediately, this isn't actually that good. They've basically used a Lotus Petal to Hail Mary a good hit off of the top 3, which is obviously non-zero. But if this doesn't have anything impactful on the top, a Lightning Helix. I don't think I can pop my spell bomb for a Lightning Helix. I've got the bolt to kill the Narcomoeba. They do still have ley lines in the deck. So I imagine they attack the Ashiok. Then I'll bolt the Narcomoeba. Oh, they're just going at me. Casting an Archamoeba. I mean, as soon as we find a green source, which is ideally sooner rather than later, we can start mowing these down. Endurance with no green sources. Not ideal. Alright, I mean, I guess now I can dash the monkey now that there's not something significantly better to do. If they block it, cool. Alright, so we've killed an Archamoeba, which was kind of the goal anyway. Do I just continue milling them with Ashiok? I don't think so. Still at me. I could bolt it now. But I think I would like to draw the card off of the spell bomb if I'm forced to use it. They're really just casting these things, huh? Alright, well, now I'll bolt one. If I find a monkey, I'll want to be able to attack, so I'll kill the one that isn't tapped. Jeez. Haven't drawn any fetch lands. I could pop the spell bomb now. Doesn't seem great, though. I do have the backup, so maybe it is just fine. Okay. Alright, so that was the third creeping chill. Luckily, we don't actually get hit by that one, right? So there's 1, 2. Yeah, that was the third, I believe. Why do I only see 2 in the yard? I could have sworn they used 2 on me. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there's 3 down. So now if they've been sandbagging a draw 2, this is probably their window to use it. Green source. I mean that kills the amalgam, and we can sweep it away with the Ashiok. Alright, there's a Narcomoeba gone. That's all of the Narcomoebas. I do not want to have to fetch Shock to cast an Endurance. That'll put me to 3. I mean, all the Creeping Chills are gone. I guess I may then have to be afraid of something like a Conflagrate. I don't think I can play the Dark Confidant at this point. We have not yet seen a Conflagrate. I know sometimes they play as many as 1. It's not super popular anymore. What's this? They just like casting a Silver Smoke Ghoul? Is that what this is? Oh, it's an imp. Right. So this does have simulated death touch. I'll go to 5 to get a green source. So I can run in 6 ping it and run in 6 ping it. The issue with that is I no longer have a way to get endurance into play. How many amalgams are gone? I see 3 amalgams are gone. 1, 2, 3. All of the Narcomoebas are gone. We've got 2 Oxes gone. We've got 3 Creeping Chills gone still. 1. I must have passed some. So there's 1, 2. I thought I was missing 1. 3. Yeah, there are 3 gone. So the only thing that I'm like really worried about is like Creeping Chill in addition to Silver Smoke Ghouls. They do have them in some numbers still in the deck. I really don't want to flash in this to kill this. That doesn't seem very good. I guess they can't actually dredge here. I guess what I'll do is I will return a Foothills. This can get another green source, and then next turn I've got access to the play. I don't think I want to minus the Ashiok here, because then they could just attack it with the Imp and kill it. They're going to Dark Blast their own thing. Try to get some dredging going. PT Bench, thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Alright, so I'll wait to see if they dredge something impactful. And CK, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. So they had a Thug and a Gaze. We got a very, very close game 3 against Dredge here. And again, this is simulated death touch, so I don't want to just willy-nilly flash an endurance in, I don't think. Going to 3 off of my fetch is scary because there's still theoretically a Creeping Chill out there. Which means that I might have to hold up an instant speed answer for it for forever. Let me do one more quick count, make sure I'm not crazy. So there's 1 Creeping Chill, 2 Creeping Chills, 3 Creeping Chills. There's 3. I would have to fetch Shock if I don't do this now. If I do it now and they like Gaze in response, and then I can then Endurance to save myself. But if they don't do it in response and they dredge here, I'm forced to flash it in. Oh my god, it's so close. See, if they just attack me one more time, it's lethal anyway. I think I've got to fetch. So this will get Overgrown Tomb tapped. And then I can kind of force it. I guess now I can ping and ping, and then I can activate Ashiok. So I need to click the one that I would like to keep, which should be the one on the far right. Choose the one to keep, this one. Ping. Target you. And then they'll probably Gaze in response if they continue their previous play pattern. They don't though, okay. I think I'm just not gonna fetch if I can avoid it, so I'll play the swamp. Say go. Really, really close game. The funny thing is if I say it, it's gonna happen, but they're just gonna draw their other creeping chill and they're gonna cast it. I can feel it. Here it is. Unless this is just a amalgam. Yeah. We've got lots of pretty decent draws here. Even Brutality would be a good draw at this point. That one cycles. Come on, deck. I think I need to keep the Ashiok in play for at least one more meaningful use. Really, really good game. I don't think I'm winning, unfortunately. They're just gonna give themselves Dark Blast outs. I could do it now. They've got one card in hand. Wow, it's so risky. So if I do it now, they know that they can't attack, then I can't snipe this thing. The issue is if they Dark Blast something good, I'm going to be forced to Endurance anyway. I think I'm going to try to ambush this thing, which hopefully just means their Dark Blast doesn't do something silly. Oh, wait, I punted. Dark Blast shrinks the Endurance. God. That was bad. And I have to Endurance. That was bad. I forgot Dark Blast does something. Oh, no, 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 no. Not like this. Oh, no. I punted. Crap. Still in it, but this will make it harder. Inquisition doesn't do anything. Come on, deck. Monkey. I can Inquisition them and then use the Ashiok. We know their last card is... Oh, I guess I didn't know that. Alright, we did not hit the Creeping Chill, although they can't cast it anymore, I guess. I'm going to dash the monkey and then play the Bob as a blocker. I'm aware of the time. How many Dark Blasts do they play? These days, a lot of the times it's 4. Cathartic Reunion? I could Cathartic Reunion. I'm going to do it. I still have the treasure to cast the Bob. There's the Brutality. I could Brutality to go up to 5, which means this no longer kills me. That also puts them to 3, and a ping has them dead. Alright, so let's 2-mode it. 2 modes. Lose 2 life. I guess that's actually the only mode. You lose 2 life. Drain you. Ping you. Go. Alright. So now they can't block. Or they can't attack, or else the monkey they know about kills them. We did it! Absolutely insane. Though they could have still. Like, I guess the card that they drew was bad enough. I mean, they can't cast anything, right? Because they would just die to their lands. So I would dash monkey and then be able to ping it, and then would have Ren and 6 left over. Jeez, phenomenal. That was definitely a big error though. On that endurance turn when I was like, oh, I'll just like block their 3/3 with my 3/4. Their dredge won't mean anything. But of course, their dredge card was Dark Blast. And I just like completely missed it somehow. Luckily, we got there anyway. Got me a Twizzler. We've got Thoughtseize into Goif. It's worked for a decade. It should continue working, right? Affinity. Plating is pretty dangerous. I could go the route of just kill the creatures and then therefore hopefully not have plating be good if they just like can't equip it to anything. I think I'm gonna do that. But I don't have a good way to deal with plating in the main deck other than Kolagon's Command, of which there is one. I think I'll take the Ginger Brute. They've got mana. Like I could just take the Drum to cut them off of mana. Let's do that. Like, they were gonna go, like, Land, Ornithopter, Drum, Ginger Brute. This will hopefully slow them down. Of course. Yeah, we do have the Beseiju, but them giving... that we would then give them a land. Which is probably not the end of the world. It's probably better than the plating. Alright, well, they drew the thing anyway. Classic Thoughtseize bug. Alright, so their hand is, not that, not that. I think I would like to... I'm actually leaning towards wanting to just Lightning Bolt something. Because if they don't draw a creature here, we could then Liliana onto an empty board. Which, again, goes along the lines of making their plating bad. Playing Goyf seems attractive, but I think this is better assuming they don't draw a creature. There aren't infinite creatures in their deck. There's the Vault, which we knew about. There's a plating, which we knew about. Jeez. I guess that would have been a reason to respond. Brutal. Crap. Yeah. Didn't even think about it. I mean, it's still better to kill this. I'll get second black. That's tilting. On top of them drawing back-to-back perfects, I also didn't play around their second perfect pretty well. And of course, more zeros for the plating. That's actually kind of perfect too. Yikes! This has not gone well. We're pretty much just dead. We can't really beat these platings, right? No, we can't. We would have to draw like infinite removal just in a row, which I guess is possible. So we'll keep playing. But this Liliana is significantly worse. I'll cycle this end of turn. Oops. Mega ultra super punished. And they should. If they had to stack the top 5 cards of their library 2 turns ago, that's exactly what they would have done. And then they'll make this unblockable, yep. We're drawing to Kolagon's command, and that's pretty much it. Okay, well that went about as poorly as it could have. Short of responding to their sixth artifact, I think I did that mostly alright, but obviously I got punished. Alright, so these two are obviously good. This kills something, which might be reason enough. Endurance as a surprise blocker could be good. Lots of their annoying stuff flies. What am I taking out? Inquisitions are not as good. The Thought Seizes take the Thought Casts and the Thought Monitors. That's probably reason enough to keep them. The Lilianas versus the all these 0 mana creatures are not super exciting. So it's is brutality better than something? Probably. Is it though? I could take out something like Croxa. Like they're probably not really in the business of killing my creatures very often, so maybe it's all right to go down on threats, especially one that's so expensive. I could do something like this. That seems fine. Yeah, let's go first. Is Bob Lightning Bolt good enough? We've got our cycling lands. I could have sworn I only put one of these in the deck. What the hell? Well, I guess I learned something today. I don't know how to count. I could have sworn there was only one of these in the deck. I guess that explains why I've seen it a bunch of times. Weird. Alright, well, I'll go turn 1. I think I'm going to go turn 1 Bloodstained Mire, because if they don't play something that I want a Lightning Bolt, I'll want to get a duel, and then I'll just play Dark Confidant. And then if they do play something I want to Lightning Bolt, I'll just get Mountain. I can still get Forest with this. We took the Croxes and the Lilianas out, so basic Forest is not as punishing. And then this will be Stomping Ground, if I can afford to Stomping Ground. And I might just get Stomping Ground anyway, to be honest. But this at least gives me the option. Alright, they didn't have a 0-drop. That's good. So then this play is a little rewarded. Grist is a fine pickup. Alright. Haven't cast my hero in a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. It's a lot of stuff. Got the thought monitor too. Oh, plating. Plating's annoying. Trigger! We find a grist. Alright, well, they kind of knew about that one. Well, now they know about it for sure. I guess I'm just playing it, honestly. Get it going. Whichever one they put the plating on, we'll just block that one. Milled a monkey. Am I attacking? No. Bob's won you a bunch of games. Yeah, I mean, in the right format textures, Bob is excellent. But obviously in the wrong format textures, it'll be unplayable. Do they run Etched Champion in the board? Honestly, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. So what we don't want to see is Ginger Brute, because that would be really good with the plating to kill the grist here. I mean, I guess we would have the bolt for it afterwards, but I'd rather not have to spend more mana casting a grist when we're drawing cards off of Bob. Of course. So this is going to hit me for a fat chunk. They can make it unblockable with a Spring Leaf. So they can hit me for 8, put me to 8, or they can snipe grist. I wonder what they prefer. Honestly, I'm hoping they just kill the grist. Yeah, killing the grist is better for me, I think, because it gives me more time for Bob to go to work. We reveal Blackleaf Cliffs. Alright, well, lands are obviously not the most ideal. I think what I'm going to do here is fetch for basic forest and deploy next grist. What I could then do is I could sacrifice insect to kill the Ginger Brute. I could then plan on blocking Frogmite and bolting the other, which would leave them creatureless, but that also leaves me on empty. I think what I'd rather do is just get this grist into play and plus it again. And I need to get the forest now so I can leave the red available for the bolt. I'm not in a million years blocking with this Bob, so I'll attack with it. So I'm hoping that they put a mana into the Ginger Brute, and then I can bolt it. I mean, if they've just got, like, Thought Cast, Thought Monitor, all of that's going to be bad for me. Even if I kill the creature now, that wouldn't take away their discount, because they've got more than enough. They do, in fact, play Etched Champion. There's the answer to your question. Well, Etched Champion and Cranioplating is going to be an issue. I mean, with all these lands in play, there's basically no way I can kill this. There's only Boseiju. Boseiju is colorless. So I need one of my 2 Boseijus. Try to kill one of these. Alright, I've got 2 outs to Boseiju. One of my 2 Kolaghan's commands to kill the plating would also help. But Boseiju is most ideal. We've got a few extra looks at it thanks to Bob. We revealed Ren in 6. I could sacrifice the Dark Confidant in order to kill the Frogmite. I guess what I can do first is just see if I get lucky. No such luck yet. I can still Boseiju if I hit it off of this Forgotten Cave. What's up, Udok? First match was cool. This match is less cool, unfortunately. I guess what I even should have done is I should have plussed Gris first if I was gonna plus it, because then I could have run in 6 to get back the Beseiju, which is actually still possible if I get basic mountain. Yeah. Nope. I guess I have to hit the Beseiju here then. More lands. Yeah, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This hits me for 9. Yeah, I just die to it. Bummer. Honestly, though, even if I found the Beseiju and was able to kill the champion, I still think I'm probably a dog. Because they still just have like all of their various draw twos. And like I have the Bob drawing my own twos, and I'd have the run in 6, so I think it maybe would have actually been pretty close. The only thing I was like really missing was a clock. But yeah, that game 1 was pretty aggravating. Like I said, if they had to stack the top 5 cards of their library, I don't think it would have been any different. I mean, maybe their Thoughtcast would have been a Thought Monitor, but that's about it. Alright, so I get to go first. Getting basic Swamp means I cannot cast Ren and 6 on turn 2. But I think I'm going to take that small gamble. Humans. I guess I gotta take the Esper Sentinel. So we're leaving them without a 1-drop, unless they find one. There's the cavern. They didn't find one, hooray. We unfortunately found a land, though. So if I play my mountain here, that means if they play Thalia first, we'll still get to heat it. Probably worth it. Because like they're almost for sure gonna Thalia, right? Unless they want a Meddling Mage first in an attempt to protect it. But they don't really know what to name. I'm thinking they should probably Thalia first, and they do. Run in 6 is a good find. Should probably just get that in now. I get punished if they find, like, exactly Mantis Rider. But, I mean, if they're gonna be that lucky, they're just gonna be that lucky. Basic Forest. I don't think I'm gonna get Basic Forest because that's gonna be really awkward if I find a Croxa. Let's shock this. And then we'll buy back the Mire. And then say go. I think that's correct. Okay. So they're not going to Lieutenant here, right? Because the Lieutenant gets to kill their thing for free. So this is probably the Meddling Mage. Although I don't know what they would name. It's probably not Kolagon's command. It's probably like Push, Bolt, Heat, one of those 3. I guess like Liliana could also be sensible, but that one's worse than the other 3. Yeah, they named Push. Alright, so I would like to find something here. 1 mana removal would probably be the best case. Perfect. So they named Push. So I could kind of surprise them here. This would only get basic Swamp if I'm looking for a basic. I do want to keep my life total pretty high. And I do think I have to fetch now, which may kind of give it away that I've got something. But I do want to continue getting value off of this run in 6. And then I guess I'll pass. We don't actually have Fatal Push in the deck. So if they play a creature here in response to it, I'll kill the champion. I guess I could also just like bolt the champion and Kolaghan's Command the mage. So there's the lieutenant that we knew about. So now that both of their things are growing, I'll have to use this Kolaghan's Command. I'll have them discard a card. Hopefully that equates to killing a creature. They've discarded a cavern. Alright, and I can actually wait to see if they play another creature here. Hopefully it's not another lieutenant. Alright, well I'm killing this thing no matter what sooner or later, so might as well keep the loyalty high. Oh, and they don't have another creature? That's big, because now Renin 6 gets to kill the lieutenant for free. And then I guess I'll play the Peatland and sacrifice it now in case I find something. I could find Liliana, so I'll keep my double black available. Just another land. So, I mean, we're doing all right, but their average draw has got to be pretty fine. And our draws have been subpar. X1s we can deal with as long as there's not a Thalia's Lieutenant follow-up. That's fine. Jeez. I'm gonna kill creatures. Let's go land pass. Like Mantis Rider would be bad. Thalio's Lieutenant would be bad. I guess like Mantis Rider is probably the worst, and here it is. Maybe not. Recruiter, that's also bad. Power 2 or less. So I guess not Mantis Rider, not General Kudrow. Oh, they're just gonna chain X1s, I guess. Come on, deck. Give me something good. Not a land. That's good. I'll get a green duel at the end step, I think. There aren't any cards that require multiple green, but if we find 2 green spells, then may want to cast both. I guess I could always just get a basic, so maybe playing Blood Crypt tapped was better, who knows. They at a minimum have another recruiter. I imagine they're going to attempt to kill Ren in 6 here. Yep, I could trade, which would then have Ren in 6 also killing the recruiter that they're about to play. The issue with that is then it's me with nothing versus recruiter and whatever recruiter gets. I think Bob is worth more than a 1/1. It's annoying. Alright. 2 spells, please. I would like to draw 2 spells, please. They're really just chaining recruiters, huh? Is there nothing better for them to get? Alright, so I'll get a green duel. I guess Overgrown Tomb. Alright, 2 spells, please. 2 spells, please. Perfect. Mill a bolt. These are in fact spells, that's true. And then I'm gonna not pay any more life if I can avoid it. Now am I attacking with the Bob? I think I'd probably block with the Bob at this point, now that I've got Grist as a way to recur some value. Obviously I would like it to stay in play. I'm still afraid of things that fly, i.e. Mantis Rider. General Kudrow as a lord would also be worrisome. Recruiter number 3. Luckily, as big as this champion might get, Goyf is likely to stay larger. I mean, there's got to be something good they can get off of this. What are the usual hits? Like Esper Sentinel, Thalia's Lieutenant. Which, okay, Thalia's Lieutenant makes a lot of sense. They're just going to cast it immediately. You gotta let your trigger resolve first. Here's the Lieutenant. Alright, so Goyf has a clean block on the champion. It's too significant to hit for me to not block with Bob at this point. Okay, they just don't attack with it. Interesting. Alright, 2 spells, please. Alright, well, we revealed a Verdant and drew a Mire. We do have Delirium. I could continue to Grist, just make a big old wall. I think plussing the Grist here once more is appropriate. We milled the land. Alright, they know about the Verdant. I'll play that one. Alright, hopefully they brick. If they do brick, they've got Silent Clearing. Okay. Okay. That one's a brick. That's going to grow champion up to a 6/6, which is the last time I'll be able to heat it. And then if they draw another creature, I no longer have a favorable block. That's probably reason enough to just kill the champion, but I'll let them make a decision on attacks before that happens. My guess would be that they want to wait to alpha until next turn. Because like I said, if they draw any human, I no longer have a good block on it. I want them to attack now. Darn. I mean, I guess I have infinite mana. There's like kind of no reason to heat now. We revealed Monkey and hit Beseiju. Beseiju doesn't actually do anything. Do I want to minus the Grist to kill something random? Probably not. Guess I'll just play my Monkey as a blocker. I guess I'll keep the Beseiju in hand. It could do something. We have 0 creatures in our yard. Bin to Thoughtseize. That's a good one to bin. Alright, I'm gonna... I like have to heat this champion if they just like put a creature on the stack. This is a creature. I mean, I could still block with Goyf and an insect, but then they get to kill the Goyf. I don't think I can allow that. So it's been an interesting game so far. Bob's really done a good chunk of work. But what do I want here? Honestly, I don't even know. I guess like I could maybe work towards a Liliana ultimate is like a good way to like really swing it, but outside of that, there isn't really any one card that's phenomenal. I guess like Croxa would be a good hit. Croxa could start getting there. We found a Terminate and another Monkey. So this Thalia's Lieutenant is actually the only thing larger than the Monkey, so I could just terminate that and then attack. That leaves me soft to a Mantis Rider, though. So maybe this is actually a turn where I want to minus the Grist. Let's do that. You may sacrifice a creature. Sacrifice a creature. Yes. Destroy the 3/3. And then I'm hoping I then get to effectively use an attack as a way to kill something. Why not Goyf with backup Terminate? You mean like why not attack with Goyf? Because then I'm like chumping all of these 1/1s. Even if they throw all 4 2/2s, we kill them. I mean that gets punished by exactly Lieutenant. That's why. Yeah. I mean that is their 3rd Lieutenant. Yeah, like I'm kind of dead to the first Mantis Rider that they find, which makes me want to keep the Terminate, which makes me not want to attack last turn. I mean, this was the reason I wasn't thinking about. I was thinking about Mantis Rider. Alright, I mean, Bob still gets to do some work. The only things that cost more than 2 in the whole deck are Grist, Liliana, and Kolaghan's Command. We've already used one Kolaghan's Command and a Liliana. We reveal a Mire and find a Goyf. Now can I attack with Goyf? Now I don't have an attack with Monkey. I could minus the Grist again, sacrifice an insect, hit the champion. Makes their blocks not very good. Alternatively, now I could attack. Hopefully they double block, but then if they double block, I have to terminate something, and then I'm basically only using a terminate on a 3/3 recruiter. I think I'm going to minus the Grist again, sacrifice an insect, kill the 4/4. Sacrifice a creature, this one. Kill the 4/4. But like I said, I really want to keep this terminate to kill a Mantis Rider. The only reason I wouldn't use the terminate to kill a Mantis Rider is if they go for some really risky multi-block, and then I can break it up and kill multiple things, like 3+ things. Alright, they know about the Bloodstained Mire, so I guess I'll just play it. Do I even have fetchables? Here's the Stomping Ground, here's the Evergreen Tomb. I have one more Blood Crypt in the deck and the basic Forest. But again, I'm not going to fetch if I can avoid it. Yeah, I agree with Fowz. This Bob has been absolutely phenomenal. That's fine. I don't think they'll name Terminate, and even if they do, we still have the Grist. They named Goyf. We've already got 2 Goyfs in play. I think we're stabilized. I don't think we're ahead, but I think we're stabilized. This Bob has been absolutely phenomenal. Funnily enough, we did find a Goyf. I guess we'll attack. See, now we get to get in with both Goyfs. We minus the Grist, sacrificing Insect to kill the Mage. We get to play other Goyf, and then it's these 4 creatures versus these 4. Or sorry, these 3. I would have Bob, Monkey, Goyf versus a 3/3, a 3/3, a 1/2, and a 2/2. And I'd also have Terminate. So if they find Mantis Rider and Alpha, we go block, block, terminate, kill them. These are 6/7s. They've got to be worried that we can just kill them. We could even, at this point, say goodbye to the Bob and just sacrifice that. I think I'm saying bye to the Bob, because losing life at this point may actually start becoming a liability, and this is the last opportunity we have. And then I'll kill the Meddling Mage so that I can cast my other Goyf. And then we have Terminate available after all of this. I think we're ahead. Because these Goyfs are not quite lethal each on their own. But they can no longer take a hit from a Goyf and something. We won that game because of Dark Confidant. Let there be no mistake. That was a completely Dark Confidant game. Alright, so we're playing against humans. Turok is probably good. Endurance just as a flash blocker might even be acceptable. Kolaghan's Command is going to be a shock a lot. Brutality is maybe a little bit better. It's also effectively a shock, but we can gain some life, and it's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, four life was a ton. It's like we would go to 1, and then any non-spell in our any non-land in our entire deck just kills us to the bob. Like I feel like playing around Mantis Rider the way that I did was probably correct. Thoughtseizes are pretty horrendous top decks. So are Inquisitions, but I think Inquisition actually hits everything in their deck. On the draw, Dark Confidant is worse. I mean, it's still just a 2-mana 2/1 that can block a good amount of the time. Maybe what I'll do is I'll shave 1. We would need 3 more cuts with this configuration. On the draw, it's probably acceptable to shave a monkey. And then we need 2 more cuts. I definitely want the Turok. I'm pretty sure I want these 6. Pretty sure. I could definitely see spots where Endurance isn't good, though. Endurance is literally just a 3-mana, 3/4 flash. It blocks Mantis Rider if it doesn't have a counter on it, and it's not exalted. That probably makes it good enough, but maybe not good enough to play 3. And then we need 1 more cut. Kolaghan Squint hits Vile. I don't think that's good enough to play the second one. I think the other stuff is probably better. Let's cut... Let's cut like 1 Kroxa, I think. Let's do that. Kroxa looks bad. Yeah, I'm going to cut the 1. I mean, last game, had we found a Kroxa, that would have been a way we turned the corner pretty quickly. So, I mean, like, in the lock that we had, in the board lock that we had, it looked like it would have been good. But, I mean, not every game is going to come down to a lock. Trim a Wren? I don't think you can trim a Wren in 6 ever against humans. It's typically one of the better cards. Like, lots of their stuff is X1s. Noble Hierarch, Esper Sentinel, all of their what's it called? The champion effects and the lieutenants, before they themselves get counters, are X1s. It nullifies a lot of their deck. So given that we've got the Kroxa, we're gonna probably want to avoid getting a basic forest. I could Stomping Ground now, basic Swamp next turn. That makes it so Ren and 6 is difficult though. So I guess what I would want to do is Mountain Overgrown Tomb. If I'm gonna Mountain Overgrown Tomb and I want to play Monkey here, I guess that means I'm fetching basic Mountain first, and then next turn I Overgrown Tomb. I think that's the plan. So I'll get basic Mountain. And then cast the Monkey. If they attack, I'll block. I think that's an acceptable trade. Thalia. Thalia's annoying. I can cast Kroxa next turn, but that's it. I will block. I will block, I promise. Damn it. Alright, well, we need a land at some point. There it is. I guess I'm casting the Kroxa. I've got nothing else to do. So if I go Overgrown Tomb here, this can get ideally another red and another black. So Blood Crypt. Things are going to be expensive though. So let's get the Overgrown Tomb. You'll discard a card. This game is looking a lot worse than the first one. I obviously don't want to attack. Thalia's got first strike. So next turn, I have the option of casting Brutality. If I'm okay with Esper Sentinel drawing a card, which is not ideal. But I'm falling so far behind in tempo that it may be a requirement. What is this? Oh god. I think I'd kill that. Brutal. And what will happen to Jund if they ban Ren and 6, just in theory? It gets a lot worse. I mean, Jund, depending on who you ask, Jund is already not super playable. And it would become even less so. Like, I have to kill this. Which I can do with Terminate. They're going to draw a card off of it, though, which is pretty brutal. I guess next turn, though, I can Brutality the either the Esper Sentinel or the Thalia without them drawing a card. I'm going to Terminate at beginning of combat unless they play another Esper Sentinel pre-combat. They don't draw off of Grist, that's right. I still think it's probably best to kill the Adeline. Like, this Adeline is just going to run away with things by itself if we don't kill it. Like, this card is nuts. You regrettably draw a card. Do I really have to block the stupid 1/1? I just, like, have to keep the board clear. I'm getting so low so quickly, I just can't afford to continue taking damage. Which, if that was the mindset, I should have blocked last turn. How does casting Grist work with Thalia? Oh, so it's a creature in my hand. Okay, so yeah, it's not discounted, or it is discounted. It is not it is not impacted by the tax. Correct. Mildegoif. That one I would have liked. If they somehow have nothing, we could maybe begin to stabilize. I'm at an effective 9 because I'm pretty much forced to get my 4th mana at least. People are arguing banning a Ren and 6 ban for trying to lower the 4-color deck's power. So, like, Ren and 6 is definitely more dangerous in that cool lands will be printed for the rest of the history of Magic. So, the power level of Ren and 6 can only increase, right? Whereas Omnath, there aren't very many more things that you could print to further power up the Omnath. So in terms of, like, card design moving into the future, Ren and 6 will get better faster than Omnath will. The cards, not necessarily the decks that the shells fit into. But like the cards on an individual basis, Ren and 6 will have a higher ceiling moving into the future. So that is an argument towards banning Ren and 6. It's like the Urza Saga argument. Like Urza Saga is really, really good right now, but they're only going to print more artifacts for it. So it's just going to get better, which is one of the main concerns with Urza Saga as a card. Now, on the axis of which card lets you just completely turn a game around from nothing, like most immediately, Omnath. Like, you could have actual Stone Cold nothing, draw an Omnath, and then win pretty easily, right? So if I escape a Kroxa here, they don't have a good attack, right? Let's do it. We've got Kolaghan's Command in the deck. I think I want to leave Goyf in the yard. I guess I should have left Monkey as well, just to have another target for it. There goes a Vial. I guess they didn't play the Vial. I guess they could have played the Vial, so maybe they just didn't in anticipation of this Kroxa, which is smart from them. You either see it's a Fairy ban or Omnath ban. The amount of treasure creating cards nowadays continues to grow. Yeah, I would be happy with it's a Fairy ban. It's just, in general, not a very fun card. Don't like Teferi, never played a control deck in your life. Probably with all the Cascade decks right now, it's worth having. Yeah, Teferi is obviously excellent versus the Cascade piles. What is this? Jeez, another one. Well, the good news is they still don't have an excellent attack to trigger the Adeline. I'm gonna guess no attack. Yeah. This would be a really, really good time to draw a removal spell. That definitely counts. So if I don't want them drawing a card, this costs 4 mana, which means I'm no longer getting Grist into play. I would like to get Grist into play. I mean, I could still get Grist into play and then let them draw a card off of the Sentinel, but that's bad as well. So I'm at an effective 5 here. Saying -2 the Grist on Sentinel, kill Adeline. If I -2 the Grist on Sentinel and kill the Adeline, I then get to block something with Kroxa. And then they still just get to draw the card off of Sentinel. I think I would rather just terminate the Adeline, because then I get to go up with Grist next turn. I think I'm gonna pass. Alternatively, what I could do is I could terminate the Deputy, get the Grist back that way, sacrifice the insect, kill the Adeline, then it's these 3 creatures versus Kroxa. That seems like it could be fine, because then I have Grist left over. Let's do that. This is bad Demantis Rider. Alright, so if they have a decent top deck, I am very behind, if not dead. But if they don't have a decent top deck, I've got a good chance at beginning to climb back. You agree with all I said about Renin 6 and Omnath. Fact is, Renin 6 fixes mana 2 efficiently and enables Omnath to enter the battlefield, and the +1 lets Omnath trigger every turn. Probably is that we just Jund player will have our Renin 6 banned because of 4-color deck sins. I think it's a possibility, but I honestly don't think either card is in any particular amount of danger right now. Recruiter. Alright, so this can get something that costs 3 mana, because again they have Hierarch in play. That's dangerous. I wonder if they'll just start chaining recruiters like they did last time. They could just go for the Thalia's Lieutenant straight away. Yeah, I don't think Renin 6 or Omnath is in any particular danger right now. I think like if there was a to be on danger list, like I guess like a watch list, then either of those two could be on it. All right, Reflector Mage is horrid for me. That bounces that. We take 3, go to 3. Yeah, Reflector Mage is pretty bad for me. What has to happen now? I get to plus the Grist, I get to plus the second Grist, and I get to Brutality. Yeah, I would be happy if they just did away with all of the companions. Like, you don't have to ban them from like playability, but I would like to see the mechanic itself go away. Like, just if you want them in your deck, put them in your deck. I dislike the actual companion mechanic personally. Monkey. So I've got 6 mana. Brutality. I guess the Thalia, play the Grist, block. I'm still just dying though. I guess I can escalate. So we'll 2-mode it. -2/-2, drain, cast. I'll get rid of the first striker. I'll drain you. Like this. I'll discard Croxa. That will trigger. I like actually have to let them draw the card here, which is kind of unfortunate. And then I can get a basic. Should I get Forest? Probably not. I can cast Grist. And I'm still technically alive. This match might unfortunately come down the clock. What's this? They're just all coming at me. I'll block the Sentinel. They didn't do anything? That's interesting. Plus, make a thing. Bin a bolt. I can dash a monkey. That'll probably have them blocking. I can then play Croxa. It's probably just better to have this as a blocker. I guess I could escape this first. See where that lands me. This means that if I dash, I'll no longer be able to cast the spell that I hit. So I'm probably just not going to dash. I think getting this Croxa into play is also important. We're still dead to Mantis Rider. That is always going to be true. Yeah, Yorion I think is like the most problematic, potentially bannable card. But again, I think Modern as a whole is probably just in a fine spot right now. Alright, this is a good sign. We're still just dead to a Mantis Rider. We somehow have not seen a Mantis Rider in our 40 minutes of playing this match. This doesn't look like it either. We're somehow not doing so bad anymore. What is this? This is like a meddling mage. I don't know what you name here. We are up a game. This is game 2. What do you even name here? Like Bolt or Heat, I guess? Tarmogoyf? I suppose. You don't have a good attack because Kroxa is large. Turok? Holy moly. That was good. So it'll be a 3-2. They ditched a Vial. If I attack, that puts them to 6, which means they must block. I still have a Grist activation. We're still just dead to Mantis Rider. It would be hilarious if that's what this game comes to, is it's razor thin for the entire match, then they just draw the Mantis Rider. Plus... I mean, barring Mantis Rider, I think we're stable. And Grist goated. Grist is very good. It does everything I want in a Planeswalker. It creates bodies to protect itself, and it kills stuff. The only thing it doesn't do is create, like, card advantage. There it is. Jeez. When they recruited for the Reflector Mage to bounce the Kroxa, I thought we were like 1% to win there. Ult make it a draw. Ult wouldn't make it a draw. Ult only makes them lose life equal to the creatures in our yard. Play the Bob. You're right. I cannot claim to be a true Bob player unless I've casted Bobble at 2 life. Do I like the new Ob Nixilis? It's a good question. I'm leaning towards no. Reason being is it seems like a win more card. Like, everyone's like, oh, if you sacrifice a huge creature to it, you get a second one. It's like, yeah, but then you're sacrificing a huge creature to it. So in that regard, I feel like that would be like more of a win more situation. Whereas not every matchup, like if we did that, if we kicked an Omnixilis in like game 1 versus humans there, obviously it's excellent because, you know, that would end the game pretty quickly. But I mean, there are lots of things that would have ended the game pretty quickly. Olivia Voldurin would have ended the game pretty quickly, you know. So like, there are definitely going to be, I'm trying to ignore the situations where it would be the absolute nuts and like trying to evaluate it on the basis of what would be its average performance in an average game that doesn't go to turn 20 with like a 30 creature board stall. Its +1 does what? It's like you can discard the opponent like discards a card or loses 2 life. Then having that option is pretty bad. And then what was the minus again? You'll have to remind me. I just remember it being not like super exciting. I know like the ultimate was like relatively game ending, but I try to never evaluate a Planeswalker based off of ultimate. Alright, so Scalding Tarn Pass, no companion. That's got to be either like Rhinos or Murktide. I guess either way we're about to find out. Unless they pierce me, which would just mean Murktide. And it is Murktide. But with blue, or with white, sorry. Teferi's not fun. Prismatic Ending doesn't do anything right now, but it will. Just about the only card that doesn't have a good case is the Heat. I think I'm going to take the Counterspell. It's their way to counter my Thoughtseize next turn. Counterspell is just a really efficient answer that's going to get me at some point. Teferi and Archmage's Charm are the 2-for-1s, which is true. But I'm going to take a 2-for-1 next turn with the Thoughtseize, I think. It's -2, create a devil that does 1 damage when it dies. That, like, is not very exciting to me. Like, sure, it protects itself. Oh god. But it's like not a very good clock either. Monkey was a good hit for them. They flipped a land though. He drew with Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is good. We already had one of those. Alright, so now I think I have to take a 2-for-1. Take the Teferi. Land, go. If they dash Monkey again, I can Unholy Heat it. And they are. Let me move the stack somewhere visible. Alright, so we know their entire hand minus a single card. Hopefully the one card they found isn't their Spell Pierce. Cool. Glyph's a good hit, although Prismatic Ending does touch it. I needed to get the Stomping Ground there because I didn't want to get another Blood Crypt because I needed green mana. No double black for Liliana is awkward. They have Delirium. Glyph is a 5/6 including instant, so they could even just heat this. What I could do is I could just go Thoughtseize, Cave, pass. Alternatively, I could wait to play the Thoughtseize next turn and play it on the same turn as the Tarmogoyf, which means if they find an additional counterspell, I'm more likely to be able to sneak it through. I think I'll do that. This also lets me hold up Terminate if they find something like a Murktide or a Monkey exactly right now. They don't. Okay. Land is interesting. We would need triple black to cast both Thoughtseize and Liliana. I think I'm going to try to be content with sneaking through the Goyf, which they can heat, but that's almost always going to be the case. What's up, Nick? They're just going to charm this? Oh, they're drawing too. Okay. Sure. I guess they figured I was taking charm and they would really like to hit the lands, which they did not do. Interesting. So Glyph is still just a 5/6, correct? We're casting a sorcery. There's already a sorcery. There's already a creature. We can't add any types here, so their heat is always going to be able to kill something. I guess what I'll do is I'll take the Prismatic Ending, because then the Liliana has the highest odds of being good. Like, if they just, like, tap out for a Murktide here, it seems like it's going to be strong for me. I will resolve this, though. Go. We've got Murktide answers. I drew the land. Heat. Bummer. So they should probably just pass. If they cast the Murktide here, we could really blow them out. We've got the Terminate though. So Terminate and Liliana makes me confident in my level of insulation. Not completely confident I'll be ahead in the game, but for right now I'm feeling okay. Another Goyf is interesting. The heat is gone. It's probably worth casting the Goyf, because they'll likely counterspell it. And then if they just like tap out for threat, I can then terminate one, Liliana the other, and then we're on an empty board. How long am I planning on streaming today? At least through this league. This is match 4. There's the channeler. Alright, so I guess they're digging for a land then. Kept the card on top. That could mean Spell Pierce. I could just not use the Terminate now. I think I'm going to untap. It plays around Spell Pierce, and if we draw the land, we get to Liliana and play around Spell Pierce with that. I think I'm just going to terminate this now. I think the opponent has played this very well so far. They've made every turn that I've had awkward. So are they just like passing with the charm now? I guess they still have Spell Pierce. If they somehow don't have a counterspell, Grist is my best play. They topped last turn, which tells me maybe it's Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce does not hit Grist, though. So the only way that playing the Grist would bite me is if they found exactly as their top card one of their, I guess, 6 remaining counterspells. And they have, okay. That at least means they won't have the counterspell to back up the Murktide. So if they tap out for a Murktide, hopefully Liliana can just eat it. Channeler. That's annoying because that insulates them versus the Edict. But they're still not playing a Murktide. Interesting. What would this do? We can escape that. I mean, the thing is, we're at 8. I mean, we're still behind to the Spell Pierce. If they were worried about Liliana, they have a little insulation edict now. I mean, we're dead to third copy of, actually 4th copy of Counterspell or the Spell Pierce. If we just play Tarmogoyf, we're pretty much dead anyway. I think they've put me in a corner where, like, I have to go for this, and then I'll just die to the Spell Pierce, unfortunately. Or 4th copy of Counterspell, yeah. Fourth copy of Counterspell gets me too. I can no longer beat both Murktides and the Channeler. Yeah, they did that well. This means, though, that on that turn where they had 1 mana available with the Channeler, I could have just, like, jammed the Liliana into it, and maybe that would have gotten me there. These. I don't think I want Brutality as a duress. Like, I can kill a monkey if it's not dashed, but that won't happen very often. Honestly, most of the cards in my deck I'm happy to see. Discard can be important to sneak through counter spells. The Terminates are obviously good. I need the Bolts and the Heats to kill the early monkeys. I guess I could shave a threat or two. I'm on the play. I think I want the Bobs. Yeah, maybe 3 mana Shock just isn't good. Buying back a creature is nice. This is difficult. They're pretty likely to have, like, Relic of Progenitus, so the Croxus could get worse, but it's one of the better threats versus the card Counterspell. Bringing in additional threats, so maybe this is fine. Maybe I just, like, cut some number of discard spells, keeping the Thoughtseizes because they hit Murktide. Let's try that. I would like to go first, yeah. Do not think I can keep that. This I can keep. And then I'm for sure keeping these. I mean, it's probably just best to keep the Terminates. So I'll bottom Endurance. There's the mulligans too. Bobble, Murktide, Spell Pierce, and Heat. Spell Pierce is the most annoying for reasons of Liliana. So I'll probably just take that. I could just take the Murktide because that's what I'm ultimately worried about. But I've got 3 answers to it in my hand. Drew with a Channeler. Brutal. Alright, so they will see that we are drawing Endurance. I guess I'll just terminate this now. There's no sense in getting blown out by something random. I'll get Overgrown Tomb. So that way any land means we get to cast Liliana. Shock Pass. What does that mean? I guess we drew a Thoughtseize, so we can kind of just tell. If it's Counterspell or like Spell Pierce, then this is always going to run into it. It was Expressive Iteration. I think I got to take that. Given I still have answers to Murktide. I guess they were just bluffing me. Bluffing me worked last game when they surveilled to the top with only 1 mana available, and they drew with only 1 mana available, and I thought they were going to have Spell Pierce, and they didn't. Monkey was a really good hit for them, though. What did they peel off the top? A Wrenn and 6? Jeez, that'd have been good. Yikes. They've been drawn pretty well. Nuts. Now they're not even dashing the monkey again. Oh my god. Did you Archmage's Charm? Holy god. Stop stacking your deck. It's annoying. I really don't want to have to double bolt this thing, but I feel like I gotta have to double bolt this thing. We know they've got monkey in their hand. Jeez. I mean, I have to bolt this, and then I'm gonna hope that their monkey doesn't hit something nuts off the top of my library again. They've been to Channeler. We can still only cast 1 spell a turn. If they have Counterspell, we're pretty much dead. I mean, I just, like, have to go for it. Like, if they have a Counterspell, the monkey's just going to continue to connect anyway. Okay. Yeah, that was a rock in a hard place. Like, I needed to draw the land at some point, and I just never did until now. And then they drew Monkey, which was their absolute nut perfect off the top. Then they hit the actual nut perfect off of my top off the Monkey. Absolutely brutal. I mean, all in all, though, this list has felt very good. Losing to Affinity after they've like just literally drew the nuts 5 cards in a row. Lost to Murktide after the opponent played very well and like made every decision I had awkward, and then they drew very well. I mean, I feel like on average this list is good. Not to say it can't improve, but it's definitely felt pretty smooth. This second Forgotten Cave is in there by accident, though, so that'll probably change. Although they've been good. Remember, if this is the kind of content you like, you should definitely consider hitting that follow button. It's a great free way to support my content. We're on the draw with one land, but running 6 and lots of things to do with our one land. Probably have to keep... Oh, God. Does that mean neoform? Could be neoform. Alright, we didn't draw the land yet. Blood Crypt Monkey. I hope it's not neoform. I don't know what Waterlogged Grove... Yeah, this looks like neoform. Abundant Harvest or Real Abundant Harvest, yep. Yeah, it's neoform. The good news is that Chancellor won't actually do anything for him. Alright, we missed on land. We get our mana one way or another. We hit Turn Timber off the top. Hang on. I can't play this as a land now. I run in 6. Buy back a land. Play a land. Say go. And then I hope that they don't combo me. There you go. Lands, pass. I need something like an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize. I can start Liliana-ing here. There's the Thoughtseize. Beautiful. I don't believe they play Endurance, but if they do, I give you permission to get me. We hit a breeding pool. Thoughtseize, please. They've got the neoform and the Nourishing Shoal. I mean, I have to take the neoform, right? That's like their one way to actually get their thing into play. So this is like the new one of the new combo kills. I think what I want to do is play the Tarmogoyf over the Liliana as an additional means of pressure. Their hand already doesn't do a lot. Drum. So they need a combination of Neoform or Eldritch Evolution, and they also need to find Allosaurus Rider. We're attacking for only 4 right now. Can I increase that? If I Liliana first, I believe I can. We can discard Planeswalker, which will for sure grow it. They'll probably discard a creature. I guess if they discard Turn Timber as a sorcery. Is there an instant? There is not. I could Lightning Bolt the opponent. If I Lightning Bolt the opponent, Goyf grows by 1. Alternatively, I could just get this treasure and then cast the Kroxa. That does not put me in a position to escape it next turn, though. So, bolt you, put you to 11, attack. They're dead next turn. Do I need to use the Ren and 6 for any reason? They do have Nourishing Shoal, so they're going to be gaining a bunch of life. So I think I would like to go the route of applying more pressure in the form of Kroxa. Bolting them isn't really going to get me very far. But I need the bolt to fill for Kroxa. Yeah, so I think I do need to bolt them. Alright, so this can get red source. Bolt you. Attack. We could still Kroxa here. We hit Gristlebrand. I mean, using treasures now is just as free as using treasures later. They usually play multiple Gristlebrand's though, so that shouldn't be the end of the line for them. Nourishing Shoal, they gain 12, go up to 16. We hit them for 7 right now. So across 2 more turns, I'd have to find 2 more damage, which Ren and 6 can do. They are at 4 now, though. So they would have to Shoal before activating Gristlebrand. They don't have infinite hits at finding the combo, even if they do execute it. There's the Shoal pitching a Thrasta. Thoughtseize? No. Although now we get to have them discard a card 3 times, right? Because Kroxa twice, Liliana once. They ditched a Thrasta. Trigger. So they're going to go up to 3 cards in hand. I want to attack before escaping Kroxa because I'm going to remove Planeswalker from my yard. Serum Visions. Sacrifice. I guess I'm casting Serum Visions because if I find a Thoughtseize or even an Inquisition, we found Heat. They do play basics, things with basic types, so I don't think Boseiju was literally Stone Rain. They play fetch lands. Let's just bottom these. Serum Visions cast Serum Visions. Meta. Oop. Come on. There we go. Alright, Neoform. Brutalities. Ashioks. I'm not crazy, right? Like, they do play basics. Plenty of them. Yeah, they do. We saw Breeding Pool. Does Spellbomb do anything? No, right? They don't have any graveyard. They don't have any graveyard parts of the combo. So it's just these 5 we want. We can take out the Heats for sure. If they ever somehow get something into play and don't kill me, the Terminates might be good, but I feel like they're usually killing me if they get something big into play. And then one more cut. It might just be like a lightning bolt. Although, honestly, bolt might be better than grist. Nah, we'll leave the grist in. For a similar argument to the terminate, like if they get something into play and they somehow don't kill me, then maybe grist can kill it. That's probably a game I'm losing anyway. But I mean, who knows? Maybe grist can clock them with like its sort of bitter blossom and ultimate. Like it doesn't attack for an amount of damage. All right. This is pretty similar to the last hand, but we're actually missing the Renin 6 this time. We've got the Inquisition, we've got the Monkey, but after that, the hand is not very strong. What happens if we hit the land? We go turn 1, Monkey, turn 2, Inquisition plus Bob or Inquisition plus Quaif. That is good. I think I'm going to keep. Like, if we mulligan, like, we don't have any aces in this matchup. Like, I guess, like, the only actual ace would be Ashiok. But it's, like, kind of hard to mulligan aggressively for the Ashiok, especially on the draw. Because, like, you would need at least 3 lands to make it work. They went top, bottom. Alright, another monkey is not exactly what I was hoping for. Monkey. Land would be ideal off the top. Alright, they're going to try to kill me here. It's not deterministic, but it is likely. Yeah, these one-landers with monkey. Alright, so this is going to let them gain a bunch of extra life. They have 1 card left. Is it neoform? You bet it is. Alright. So they need a Nourishing Shoal and a big green thing in their top 2. They've cast a Summoner's Pact, so they do have to kill me here. Alright, so as long as they've got a Nourishing Shoal, they're fine. Yeah, okay, so that'll more than likely do it. They have 0 cards in library. So they'll thrash to me. These are elves. I haven't seen this before. Is this standard? There it is. It's a 47-47. What made it so big? Oh, this. Block. It has trample, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it has hexproof, so, like, Terminate doesn't even save me. Okie dokie. Am I like actually crazy? Let me look up a neoform list. Modern neoform. Are my Besejus actually just stone rains? I feel like they're not. I'm pretty sure I saw breeding pool. Oh, this is an old list. Come on, internet. Why are you so slow? Oh god. I've got some time. Where's neoform? Just like isn't here. I don't know. I mean, who knows? It's probably better than like Kolagon's command. Let's go first. If they don't kill me on turn 2, this hand is good. Ashiok does straight stonewall the neoforms. Might be too slow, though. I think I need a monkey or an Inquisition or Thoughtseize. This hand is worse. This hand is the best we've got. Keep. Bottom the Lightning Bolt. Bottom the Wrenn and 6. They've mulliganed down to 5 as well. If they don't reveal an Allosaurus Shepherd, I think I'm going to monkey on one. If they do reveal an Allosaurus Shepherd, I think I can afford to cast the monkey, because I don't think they can kill me on turn 1 without the extra green mana. Alright, so we are exiling the top card of their library, so if they want to keep a card, they should put it second from the top. They went top. Okay, so they figured it out. We can attack with monkey first. We flip a drum. Funnily enough, that might actually be good. They've got Eldritch Evolution, Leyline, which is no longer good, and a Serum Visions. I should probably just take the Evolution. Luckily that Leyline wasn't in their hand. Yeah, they do have the breeding pool, so I'm not crazy. So, Besejus aren't just Stone Rains. They go top. So they found the card that they liked, and they put it second from the top. We had Brutality. I guess we attack. Abundant Harvest. I could get a land with it. Let's get a land. We hit a tomb. I think I am escalating. Veil of Summer would be pretty bad for me here. Nice. So they've got Nourishing Shoal, Summoner's Pact. I think I'm supposed to take the Shoal. They need lots of green cards for this pact to be good, and they also need Neoform. Shoal might find them a lot of time if they find a Shepherd. We can always take the pact next turn. I maybe didn't want to play that land in case I wanted to escalate to a Brutality again. So they bottom and play a Breeding Pool. We find lands. Alright, well I guess we have to escalate for free again. Let's see what an attack does. We hit a ley line. I guess we'll 2-mode it again. They did in fact find the Shepherd, so taking the Shoal last turn paid off. Alright, we're one off of lethal, but that means they can't use the Waterlogged Grove for mana. They found Neoform. But even if they find the Allosaurus Shepherd, they're a green card short. Nice. We revealed Thoughtseize. That should do it. Nice. Alright, so we finished off a pretty decent 3-2. I think this list felt very good. Our 2 losses were to Affinity, which, along with a minor misplay, they kind of just like drew the nuts. So I think that wasn't like an average showing for that matchup, but it was given an above average matchup, an above average showing for the Affinity deck. They did just crush us. And then the other loss was to, what was it last round? I can't even remember. Jeez. Anyone remember what we did last round? I know we lost. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, it was close. Oh, it was Murktide. It was Murktide. So that Murktide opponent, I do think was very good. But in addition to being very good, they also just like drew the monkey on exactly the turn we weren't prepared to deal with it, and then they hit the best possible off of it, which was really annoying. So I mean, I think like the average showing for this deck was positive. There were definitely some games in this league where we were just stone cold behind, and we were able to pull back because of either Dark Confidant or Grist, or even a combination of the two. As an example, that one game versus Humans in game 2 that we somehow ended up coming back and winning. Game 1 versus Humans, we drew like 5 cards off of Bob, and it was like the only reason we were ever in that game. And then Grist helped us stabilize by gumming up the ground, while Bob just like kept drawing cards while Grist was protecting it. It was a pretty nutty little combo. It was really good. But I mean, yeah, all in all, this list feels pretty good. If I had to make changes, I would definitely get rid of this second Forgotten Cave, because again, that was in there by accident. But the sideboard feels really, really good. I think I brought in every single card in the sideboard, at least twice, actually. Second Kolaghanskan was actually somehow the worst sideboard card. But I mean, everything was useful. Everything came in. Everything had pretty clean cuts too. I think I like this sideboard a lot. And I think I'll probably keep this mostly the same in combination with this mostly the same. But yeah, I like this league a lot, and I think it was pretty solid. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like and that subscribe button. They're great free ways to support my content. And if you're watching this live and you haven't heard of my YouTube, all of these videos, including this one, will be going to the YouTube channel. This is Jund League number 124. So there are 123 other Jund Leagues plus some extras already on my YouTube channel. The link to my YouTube channel can be found attached to my Twitch biography, or you can just like search my name, which is listed right here under my face. And you can also follow me on Twitch, as Delver of the Many also just did. So thank you, Delver. And everyone else should do the same if you're not already. But that's going to be it for this recording. So if you're watching on YouTube, have a good one. And until next time, Jund 'em out.